Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to News Dose. And you know what? We have a fun day ahead of us. Days like today are the exact reason that I love gaming, because we have a couple of great new games to talk about. We also have some relatively big Xbox news to talk about, as they just announced a new feature. And we're also hearing that PlayStation might be working on more remasters, but this is quite the compilation that I think some fans will be very happy about. So you know what? Let's just go and jump right into the fun, starting off with Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. We saw the reviews earlier this week, and it's still sitting at an 83 overall score. This right now is one of the best reviewed Dragon Ball games of all time. But what's even more interesting is just the amount of success that it's having right now. I'll be honest with you all. I was not expecting this amount of success. But you can see on Steam database that its peak high has already reached 122,000 players. And this isn't even the weekend yet. So there's still a good chance that it'll continue to climb. But even if not, this is still an incredible result for a fighting game. Just to put this into perspective, Dragon Ball FighterZ's peak high was 44,000 players. That was a great game, by the way. And then if you look at some other popular fighting games, the almighty Street Fighter 6 topped out at 70,000, Tekken 8, 49,000, and Mortal Kombat 1 peaked at 38,000 players. So Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is right now the most successful pay-to-play fighting game launch of all time on Steam. Again, pretty incredible stuff. The only fighting game that's ever had a higher peak high on Steam is Multiversus, and, that's a free-to-play game. So it's an apple to oranges comparison, but just big congrats to Bandai Namco, and also really to just us Dragon Ball fans out there. It's a pretty good day overall with Sparking Zero and also the launch of Dragon Ball Daima. Unfortunately, I do wish that Akira Toriyama was here to celebrate with us, but I am still happy that we finally got a great return for the Budokai Tenkaichi series. Clearly, a lot of other fans are thrilled as well. Now, another game that released today, of course, is Metaphor Refantazio. It's honestly kind of hard to choose which one to start with first, but no matter which way you go, sounds like you're going to have a pretty fun time. And also, Sega and Atlus are already celebrating a big-time launch. They announced this morning that it's already sold 1 million copies globally, which I've mentioned this a few times already, but I think this whole situation is just so amusing. Just last week, there were some clowns online. We're not going to name any names here, but there was some clowns online trying to peddle the idea that there was no hype for Refantazio because Xbox had the marketing deal and that apparently nobody knows that it's actually a multi-platform game. Listen, if you don't like Xbox, that's perfectly fine, but I just want people to use their brain. That's all I'm asking for here, because we've seen this before. Xbox has had the marketing rights for several high-profile Japanese games, including Tales of Arise, Persona 3 Reload, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. And guess what? People weren't confused that they were multi-platform games. They all had success across multiple platforms. So this idea that Japanese games can't have success if Xbox has its marketing already went out the window a long time ago. This debate should have never been a topic in the first place, because at the end of the day, if a high-profile game is good, regardless of who has the marketing, gamers will find out. And time again, it's proven that they'll play it on the platform that they prefer. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Refantazio is already Atlus's most successful launch on Steam. I imagine it's also having a lot of success on PlayStation, being the industry console leader, and sure, Xbox had the marketing, so they were able to put it in several of their showcase, so I'm sure they're contributing to its sales as well. Also, if Nintendo gets it in the future, which I'm crossing my fingers for that, but my guess is that yes, it'll probably have success there as well. I don't know. Like I said, I just want people to use the brain a little bit. It is what it is, I guess. But big congrats to Sega and Atlus. And for that matter, I think right now, Sega might be the publisher of the year. If you think about it, for 2024, they have Persona 3 Reload, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Refantazio, and they still have Sonic X Shadow Generations incoming as well. Sega is killing it. Now, we also got some news for Hogwarts Legacy because, according to Insider Gaming, a definitive edition is on the way and could release sometime in 2025. You can see here where they said Insider Gaming understands that a Hogwarts Legacy definitive edition is in development. Its content will be sold as a separate DLC for those with the existing game. The definitive edition is said to have around 10 to 15 hours of additional content with a new story quest, side quests, activities, and outfits. Now, it sounds like they've yet to settle on a price, but it's expected to be between $20 to $30. I mean, for 10 to 15 extra hours of content, that doesn't seem to be too bad of a price. And, this is for one of the more popular games this generation. I'm sure a lot of people are just craving to jump back into its world once again. And unless you want to wait years and years for its eventual sequel, well, then I guess this is kind of the next best thing. Also, do keep in mind here that Hogwarts Legacy is one of the games that's set to receive PlayStation 5 Pro enhancements, so this will kind of be the second excuse to jump back in for anybody who buys into the PlayStation 5 Pro. Okay, so let's go and talk about Xbox, and this is kind of a two-part story, but they are both connected to the Google court case and then being now forced to open up the Google Play Store on Android devices. Well, Xbox is already planning to take advantage of that because they just announced that they plan to expand their Xbox app on the Android store next month. You can see Sarah Bond's statement here, which reads, "The court's ruling to open up Google's mobile store in the United States will allow more choice and flexibility. Our mission is to allow more players to play on more devices, so we are thrilled to share that starting in November, players will be able to play and purchase Xbox games directly from the Xbox app on Android." So this is really good news for really the entire hardcore game industry, because what you're seeing is that these companies will now have an opportunity to reach more people through Android devices. And there's a lot of Android devices out there. And I think that's the most interesting part about what Xbox plans to do. I mean, sure, you'll now be able to purchase Xbox games through their Android app, and then you can play them on your Xbox console once you're near it. It's kind of a quality of life improvement. But the more interesting aspect to all of this is the potential for something like cloud gaming. I think this is what they really want to do to amplify cloud gaming on mobile devices. And in fact, The Verge is already reporting that Xbox game streaming is going to expand next month in November. In their report, they said Microsoft is planning to support the streaming of Xbox game libraries next month. Sources familiar with Microsoft's plans tell The Verge that the company is getting ready to test the ability to stream games that you own that aren't a part of the existing Xbox Game Pass library. As a part of a long-running project known as Project Lapland inside of Microsoft, the software giant has been readying its Xbox cloud gaming servers to be able to support streaming thousands of games. I'm told Microsoft will first test its new Xbox cloud gaming streaming capabilities with Xbox insiders in November before expanding them to more Xbox users and more games. So this is a pivotal moment for their game streaming option, and I think for a lot of gamers interested in cloud gaming, this is what they were previously missing. This gives fans the ability to play any of their games anywhere at any time, so long as they have a good, stable internet connection. Now, that is something that I think that Xbox still needs to address. If they truly want cloud gaming to take off, then they do still need to improve its quality. I have used their cloud service before, and in my opinion, I think it's serviceable for what it is, but still far from perfect. Right away, I personally feel that the image quality is lacking. So I think there's still room for improvement, but either which way, this is a good start for them, and we'll see if this kickstarts their plans for more improvements at a more frequent pace. Now, lastly here, there's also an interesting rumor going around that PlayStation is working on yet another remaster, or in this case, a remastered compilation. So, I mean, right away, I know people are going to kind of poke fun at Sony's heavy reliance on remasters this generation, but in my opinion, as long as they're also pushing out new games on a consistent basis, which I know has been a little rough this year, but if they can do that, then I'm all for remasters to pair along with that, just so long as they actually make sense. And I think that's been one of the big problems that fans have had with Sony's remaster strategy. It's not that people dislike remasters. Games like Demon's Souls made sense because it's a game that was locked away on the PlayStation 3. There was also a lot of effort put into that remake. It looks incredible on the PlayStation 5. But as for games like The Last of Us, Until Dawn, the Horizon Zero Dawn remake that's coming later this month, I mean, these remasters/remakes, whatever you want to call them, they just don't really make a lot of sense because you could already play these games on the PlayStation 5 with fairly good visuals and with great performance. So I think what gamers are trying to tell Sony is that if you're going to remaster something, then use your resources on games that are actually worthy of the remaster/remake treatment. Because there are games out there that fans are requesting. It's just not the 3 games that I just mentioned. And I think in this case, there will be a lot of gamers that are happy if this rumor turns out to be true, because this allegedly is for a classic God of War collection. You can see here posted up by Lunatic Ignis. They said, yes, the rumors are true. God of War Greek Saga Remastered, not actual title, is in the works at Santa Monica Studios and Nixxes Software. The development is finished and they are just waiting for an announcement releasing in 2025 with an announcement between December and March. Then they continued on to say, when I said Greek Saga, I mean all Greek Saga, including 1 through 3, PSP games, and God of War Ascension. Now, if this were to happen, this wouldn't be the first time that Sony put a collection like this together. Sony actually used to do this type of stuff a lot for the PlayStation 3. Back in 2012, they released the God of War Saga, which included God of War 1 through 3, and the PSP games as downloadable vouchers. The only game that it was missing was God of War Ascension, but that was 12 years ago. And again, exclusively for the PlayStation 3. So kind of similar to the Master Chief Collection, I think a lot of PlayStation fans would love to be able to play these games on modern consoles, and especially if they can get them all on a single disc. That would be pretty amazing. I mean, even all of these years later, these are extremely, extremely fun games. Just absolute classics. I mean, if you haven't played them, they are way different than the new God of War games, but I think they're timeless because they're just insanely fun. So I like this idea, and I hope it turns out to be true, but let me know what you all think about this in the comments below. With that said, though, that's going to be it for this episode. I do hope you all enjoy your weekend with maybe Refantazio or Sparking Zero, both of those games. Pretty amazing stuff, but until next time, subscribe, and peace out.